Hello everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the show. Welcome to Sunday Show and Tell. I know that the last few episodes of this have kind of gone off the rails. I'm going to try and keep this focused and not talk about everything that there is to talk about that happened this weekend. Just kind of focus in on a few things that interest me and what I think are the viewers of this channel. So, starting off, we're going to talk about Frazetta girls because I just put up the video for Vampirella, card and link right here. And while that was going on, 2 days after that video went live, Frazetta Girls has announced that the next figure that is going to be going up for pre-order is Conan. And I cannot tell you how excited I am about this. No word on when the actual pre-order date is going to be, other than it is going to be in March. Checking out this picture, this is not based off of any of Frank Frazetta's covers for the novels. This image, this version of Conan, especially with that helmet, with the flat top helmet and the horns that are kind of going off to the side, I've only seen in one Frazetta image, and it hasn't been one of the covers. I don't think, to my knowledge, it had a actual name other than just Conan the Barbarian. Hopefully we'll find out once this goes up for pre-order. And speaking of pre-orders, the other thing we're going to be taking a look at real fast is Jada Toys Scooby-Doo Wave 1. Now, I think the honeymoon season is over for Jada Toys. That when Blanca and I forget what the other figure was for Street Fighter came out and the price was raised up to $29.99, I think a lot of people thought that it was just because they were bigger figures that anything after that was going to go back down to like $25, $24.99. However, all of Wave 1, which is up for pre-sale right now, link to that in the description below. Link to everything that there's a link for will be in the description below. That these are going to be $29.99 as well. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole price hike in this video right now, but if you do want to see somebody talking about that, Lyle over at Lyle's Figure Files actually just did a really good video on Jada Toys, the price hike, and his thoughts on it. Card and link to that below, or card and link right there as well. Link in the description below if you want to check that video out. Now, I do have to say that I do think these are some great looking figures. Very bright, very vibrant. The articulation looks fantastic. That if you just look at some of these poses, they really get into like sort of like those cartoon style poses, especially with our mummy running right here. I think that looks really cool. Now, there have only been 3. Upsettingly, Scooby-Doo himself is actually not one of them. I'm guessing he's going to be from Wave 2. We're only getting one character from Mystery Inc., and that is Shaggy right here. And for $29.99, $30, you're getting 2 heads, 2 sets of hands, a box of Scooby snacks, and a Scooby snack. And if you take a look at those hands, one of those hands is obviously designed to hold the Scooby snack. The other one, I'm assuming, can hold the box. That looks really cool. I like the look of Shaggy. It looks like he's going to be a very unique figure, a very unique sculpt. And I think he looks really good. I think he looks great as far as like a 3D likeness of the cartoon. The other one we have is the, what is it? The Mummy of Anka. The Mummy of Anka. And this I may get just because I like the look of it. I like the individually sculpted wraps, and I like how it sort of has like this dirty wash to it, that it's not just all bright white. The wraps do look aged. That I might actually use this as the missing mummy from my Jada Toys Universal Monsters line. We'll have to wait and see what it looks like when it comes out. But I do like the sculpt. I do like the articulation. You saw he was the one that you saw in that sort of like jump running pose. He comes with 2 heads, the mummy head and the Dr. Najib head. He comes with 2 pairs of hands and some mummy wraps, some mummy bandages that you can do this pose of unwrapping the bandages from around the doctor's head, which I think is a really fantastic touch. And then my favorite of this first wave is the Creeper right here. And as a kid, I always really liked the Creeper. I liked the look of him. I liked the coloring, that green color. There was just something about him that, like, I think he was like my favorite old school Scooby-Doo villain. He comes with two heads as well, the Creeper head and the Mr. Carswell head. It looks like his glasses are removable as well. Comes with two pairs of hands, and he comes with the stretching mask so that you can do the unmasking pose, and you can practically hear the sound, that was horrible, sound whenever they would like pull the mask off of his head. I think that looks really cool. And now talking about Four Horsemen, this is going to be the first of a couple of crowdfunders we're going to be checking in on. The Four Horsemen, Beyithirr, the Pillar of the West crowdfunder has gone up, and that is for their giant horking dragon. Now this thing does look beautiful. I am not going to deny that. As a matter of fact, this reminds me of some dragon statues from the 90s that I had as a kid, that the coloring, the shine to it, the sculpt of it, the look, the design, everything reminds me of like these just dragon statues that you could get in the 90s. There was a green one, a red one, a black one, and a purple one, maybe a blue one, and definitely a gold one. But they had this very classic dragon pose to them. Now, this is it's a pre-order, but it's also done on a crowdfunder basis, that they need to sell 2,000 units of this big dragon for it to go to production. And the price tag on this is $550. So for $550, you get the dragon. It needs 2,000 units. That is the goal for it to hit production. At 2,500 units, it unlocks the Sir Benegar Champion of Beyithirr Knight. At 3,000 units, it unlocks the Sir Benegar Upgrade Weapons and Soft Goods Pack that gives you additional weapons, additional heads, and a soft goods cape for him. At 3,500 units, it unlocks the Ashen Skeleton, and then at 4,000 units, it unlocks an Ashen Skeleton upgrade set that includes a spear, shield, and an extra 2 head sculpts for the skeleton. So that is everything for the base model. In addition to that, there are 2 add-on sets that are kind of crowdfunders in and of themselves. The first one that we'll take a look at is the Fiery Breath one right here, which I think is going to be the most popular. That it is $150, so that would be $150 in addition to the $550, and it needs to sell 1,000 units for this kit to go into production. You get the Flaming Breath, you get the the Burning Knight, which just looks awesome. It's like Ghost Rider in a suit of armor. I freaking love it. It's really cool. As a matter of fact, if this does get made, I may see if somebody's selling that figure. I know the figure will be like $100, but I might go in on it anyway. And you also get a neck extension so that like Beyithirr can just sort of like do the extended neck whenever he's breathing fire. So that is $150, needs 1,000 units to reach its stretch goal. It needs 1,000 units to go into production, rather. And then at 1,250 units, 1,250 units, it unlocks the Burning Knight upgrade set that includes the shield, extra head, and translucent boots and translucent hands. So that's cool right there. You know, part of me saying it out loud now is thinking that I might just back the Fiery Breath kit and keep the figures, keep the Burning Knight figure and any stretch goals you get with that, and then just sell the dragon parts later once they come through. I may do that. I may have to think about that. The other kit, the other add-on kit you get is the Epic Wings that gives the dragon the big spread out epic wings for wings in flight. I have a feeling that may not sell as much as the Flaming Breath add-on kit does. That is also $150, 1,000 units to meet its goal, plus you get the Ashen Zombie. And then for 1,250 units, that will unlock the Ashen Zombie upgrade set that includes 2 additional heads. What else do we got here? Extra set of hands, 1 sword, and 1 shield. So basically, this is $850 to go all in. And just for funsies, I went to the Four Horsemen. I went to Store Horsemen, actually, and I started to back this just to see what would happen as far as costs go. So, tax obviously is based on wherever you're living, but me living in PA, to have this shipped, you can pick your shipping options, but shipping for the Dragon alone was anywhere from $44 to $150, depending on the shipping process that I wanted. Now, it is also worth noting that there is a shop pay option that you can do a payment plan where they'll spread it out and you'll pay a little bit every 2 weeks. Now, this does end April 6th at 11 p.m. And if it reaches its 2,000 goal, it will go into production. If it doesn't, you know how these crowdfunders work. And speaking of crowdfunders, that takes us straight to something that I just saw on Kickstarter, Space Zombies from Mars. The premise of this is real simple. You have half astronauts and half zombie astronauts. And the story being that this team goes to Mars to find out what happened to the forward team. You find out that they're all you find out that they're all zombies. Hilarity ensues. Now, this has me interested, not so much for the zombies, but like the astronauts, I think look really cool. The astronauts all have their own backstory, their own bio. They all have their own equipment set. The only two available right now is the team leader, which is like military personnel, and I think it's the science officer. That they're the ones to unlock are, you have the engineer, you have the medical specialist, and you have one that's just called Retro, where he has a red astronaut suit and a jetpack. So that's one that would be a stretch goal to unlock. That one would be pretty cool to have. Taking a look at them here, you can see that they use a lot of the same tactics, I don't know if that's the right word, that a lot of indie toy companies use. Obviously, there is a lot of reuse, especially in the body. The astronaut suits, that they just repaint that, give them different heads, give them different hands, give them different accessories that plug into their backpack. I don't have a problem with that. I just think having these astronauts would be really cool. The space zombies are basically the same thing, that they're all kind of repaints of each other. The one that caught my eye the most is the red space zombie right here. It is the Kickstarter exclusive, and the zombie glows in the dark. That would be awesome. Let's see. The crew working on this, the team behind this, there are some people working on this that have some very good pedigree. That Arlen Pelletier is the sculptor. And if you're not familiar with his name, you are familiar with his work, that he has done a lot of sculpting for Big Bad Workshop. He worked on Naughty or Nice. I wouldn't be surprised to find out that he's working on, maybe not Monster Force, but like the Crimson, was it the Crimson Moon or the Crimson Cult or whatever it is? Wouldn't surprise me to find out he was working on that, or Soldiers of Fortune. But he did definitely work on Naughty or Nice, so he's very used to this idea of, this is the buck, this is what I have to work with, how can I make this look different? And I think he does a pretty good job with these. Also working on this is Chris Garrich. Chris Garrich, he's the production manager for Four Horsemen, and he's the production manager for this. So there's a pretty solid team behind this. Whenever you go to the Kickstarter and you look at it, dollars are in Canadian values, so don't let the values that you see sort of bulk you at first. All right, now in USD, American currency, the figures are going to be $40 each, which I know is a little steep, but I don't think it's outside the realm of what we've come to expect from indie companies like this. Also, if you back it on Kickstarter, like I backed 2 of the astronauts so far. As the other ones unlock, I'll probably add more onto it. But if you back 2 astronauts, for example, they have package deals basically, that like the one that I did, back the 2 astronauts, it puts them together at a discounted price. So I'm not paying $40 and $40. I'm not paying $80. I'm paying less than that. And they have package deals like that through the Kickstarter as well, including the, like I said, Kickstarter exclusive glow-in-the-dark zombie. And I think there's going to be a Kickstarter exclusive Astronaut 2. I'm not entirely sure about that. The goal is $118,243. Time of recording, Saturday evening. They have reached $27,403. So they're on their way. The Kickstarter just started. They have 23 days left to go. And that brings us into the final crowdfunder we're going to be taking a look at, and that is an update on the Leo Kaiser HasLab project. That it has reached its first 2 stretch goals. It currently has, time of recording, 16,143 backers. That has unlocked Death Cobra, and that has unlocked the electromagnetic nunchucks. So the only thing we're waiting on now is to unlock the base, and that requires 18,000 backers. And considering there's 16 days left to go, I'm feeling pretty confident that they're going to hit that mark. Now, while we're talking about Leo Kaiser and the Transformers HasLab, let's talk about some Transformers that went up for pre-order this week. There were some interesting pieces. Not being a Transformers collector, I don't know how fans feel about some of this stuff, but I feel like there were some really interesting pieces. And we're going to start off with the Dramatic Capture Series DCS-4 Cybertron, Chase, Jazz, Wheeljack, and Bumblebee set. And these are those 3 characters in their Cybertron vehicle modes. Now, I know we've had these guys before, but I think these are different sculpts. These are different figures. They look like they're smaller than some of what we have before. Please, Transformers fans, let me know if I'm wrong about that. Are these reissues or are these new? They just seem really small. Like, for example, if you look at this picture right here, the Energon rods that Bumblebee is gathering, if you remember this from the original G1 cartoon, this scene, the Energon rods that Bumblebee is gathering do not fit inside Wheeljack. They have to pop into those clips that are on the side of Wheeljack. And not only that, there's no way Bumblebee is fitting inside Wheeljack. So you have the Energon rods that it comes with. Other accessories that it comes with is Bumblebee's jetpack, Jazz's wrist grappling launcher that you can pop the hands off and you can sort of put like the grappling hook on his wrist like he's getting ready to shoot it off. Unfortunately, there's no string between the, Unfortunately, there's no string between the grappling hook and his wrist. What else do we have? We have 2 spinner weapons for Wheeljack that honestly I don't remember Wheeljack having shuriken. And then you have the 6 Energon rods. And the price tag for this, for the 3 figures and all of the accessories, is $98.99. I mean, let's just call it $100. It arrives in October. Now, the other 2 that went up for pre-order that I'm kind of curious about. We got 2 versions of RC, and we're going to look at them out of order. That the first one we're going to look at is Missing Link C08 RC, which is based off of the movie version of RC. This is probably the closest to the movie version that we have. Some die-cast parts, comes with a blaster, collector's card, and a secret film. I don't know what that means. I don't see it in these pictures either. And I'm going to be honest, like looking at these photos, especially of RC transformed, I never realized how much RC looks like Blur. As a matter of fact, if I had this when I was a kid, I probably would have made Blur and RC brother and sister just because of how she looks right here. I'm not sure on the height, but on this photo right here, they have her next to what looks like the vintage hot rod. So I'm thinking that's about, what, 5-6 inches tall? Maybe, not entirely sure. But what gets me about this is the price tag on it. $98.99 is, time of recording, what it's listed at. $100 for RC right here. That seems kind of high to me. Let me know. Once again, this arrives in October. And then the other one that we're going to take a look at is the Missing Link C07 RC prototype. And this one is based off of the 1986 non-transforming styrofoam prototype that never saw the light of day. So basically, after the movie was made, or maybe even during the movie was made, they had made a styrofoam prototype of RC, and I guess they just figured boys wouldn't want to play with a female Transformer or a pink Transformer, which is why she's orange anyway. I don't know, but she never saw the light of day. Being a boy from the 80s that was collecting Transformers at the time, I remember being upset that we didn't have an RC. I'm just saying. But this is basically, other than the sculpt, the look, and the coloring, I mean, it's basically the same thing as the other RC. Has some die-cast parts, comes with the blaster, the collector card, and secret film. If you look at the photos, it looks like she's the same size and has the same price, the $98.99 price tag, $100 for this version of RC. Transformers fans, let me know, what do you think of this price? What's the logic behind the $100 price tag? And once again, she arrives in October. Now, let's roll over to my bread and butter, and let's talk about what happened with G.I. Joe this past week. That they had said that there wasn't going to be any more surprise drops, any more surprise reveals. They are dirty, dirty liars. A lot of stuff went up for pre-order this past week for G.I. Joe, including the retro card figures of CoverGirl, CoverGirl, Mindbender, and the Televiper. And we also had Snake Eyes and his polar bear. We had the Firefighter too, which the Firefighter looks fantastic. But the one that got a lot of people was Breaker. And I don't think it was very well known that Breaker was going to be a Target exclusive. I didn't realize that Breaker was going to be a Target exclusive. And also, when the email went out to Pulse Premium members, it came out late. It came out after the deadline, at least for me, and I know a lot of other people. So that by the time we jumped to Hasbro Pulse's website, Breaker was sold out at Hasbro Pulse. Now, I had caught wind of what was going on towards the tail end of it. As a matter of fact, I did get a pre-order in at Target. I was lucky. I was very lucky, because pre-orders for Target were starting well before it was available at Hasbro Pulse. This was like the Tiger Force Ferret all over again, to be completely honest. I did get a pre-order in, but I got it in at the tail end. I'm looking forward to my order being canceled. I don't doubt that's going to happen. I think it was a huge mistake to make the one of the Mass Device figures a Target exclusive. Like, you got people hyped up, you got people excited that you're doing the Sunbow figures and you're doing the Mass Device and you're giving them like the elements from the Mass Device, and then you make one of them a difficult exclusive to get. That was a big mistake, I feel. And I do hope that everybody who wanted one was able to get their hands on one, but I know that's not how that went down. So I honestly wasn't expecting a lot of this stuff to go up for pre-order until after the 18th, after the G.I. Joe fan stream that's going to happen. But who knows what we're going to see with that now? Well, I mean, there are some people that know what we're going to see with that right now, but I don't pay attention to leaks or rumors too much. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about with Hasbro is something that is not really related to any of the lines. And I'm sure as collectors, with the on-again, off-again tariffs and the instability of what's happening with things like that right now, there is a question of what's going to happen to our hobby, what's going to happen to our collecting. Well, Chris Cox, CEO of Hasbro, actually addressed that. And I'm not going to tell you what I think of what he said. If you want to watch the interview, it was on, I think, Yahoo Finance. I have it. I have a link to that in the description below. I will give him this much. He didn't dance around the subject. He was very blunt and very straightforward about things. But watch it yourself. Take from it what you will. But if you were wondering, there is that. I also got an email from Mantic Games where they made a post on their website about what's happening. And I think even though it's Mantic Games, I think it gives us a good idea of what some of these indie companies are going to have to do navigating the financial landscape moving forward. I will put a link to that in the description below as well if you want to read that. So it's not great news, but at least there are people that are addressing it. And to be completely honest, with the way the tariffs are, they're in play, then they're out of play, then they're in play, then we're out of play. Like, who knows if any of this is even going to come to fruition at this point. Next Thursday, March 13th, begins Walmart CollectorCon. Yes, it is upon us already. I will be doing my morning videos whenever this goes up. I kind of like doing that. I don't know why, but I enjoy getting up early in the morning and talking about the stuff that's available. The preview page is up right now, though, and there is new things available on the preview page. I'm not going to talk about everything, but there were a few things that caught my interest that I'm going to pass along to you. First of all, Marvel Legends Spirit Spider-Man. This guy right here, one of my favorites from the Marvel Gamerverse wave that came out. He is coming out for Walmart CollectorCon. No surprise there. He has all of the essential hands, fists, thwips, and wall-crawling hands. Looks really cool. Has a flaming head. $24.97. Going up for pre-order on the 13th for the CollectorCon. Now, the ones that I am kind of interested in, there's 3 at the moment that I'm very interested in. Masterverse Vintage Collection Faker. So this is based off of the 40th anniversary He-Man body, and I guess the Vintage Collection is going to be something that we're going to be getting for Masterverse now, because we had He-Man as the 40th anniversary. We just got Skeletor. Now we have Faker. And it looks like the control plate on his chest, instead of being a decal or a paint app, it actually looks like it's an individual piece that's attached to his chest to give it some depth, to give it like a different sculpt, just to give it something a little bit extra than just being a sticker or a paint job. The weapons are gold instead of orange, which I really dig that. I really dig that. I was never a fan of like the bright orange weapons, but if you still want to make Faker's weapons stand out and you give him the gold ones, I'm 100% behind that. I think that's really cool. And that will be going for $21.47. Also from Masterverse is the new Eternia She-Ra, and this looks fantastic. I think you all know how much of a fan of She-Ra I am. I have mentioned in the Princess of Power video what She-Ra means to me and why she's so important to me. I hope she's taller, because that was my one gripe with the Princess of Power She-Ra, was that she was too short, especially when she was put against her brother, when she was put against He-Man. Realistically, though, I'm pretty sure this is being built on the same buck as that Princess of Power She-Ra, but she does look really good. I dare say she looks better than the Princess of Power figure. I love the gold accessories, the gold weapons once again. I really like that sword of protection that is kind of like a cross between the sword of protection that came with the figure from the 80s and the one from the cartoon. I think that looks really cool. I think it's a good sort of like in between right there. And she, as part of the Walmart Collectors Con, she will be going for $21.97. Now, the most insane one that we have to look at is, what have they done to Crystal Ball? Don't get me wrong, this looks awesome. I'm really curious to like read a write-up on him or something, because in the original vintage line, he was just a dude that could hypnotize people that I assumed they used for interrogation. With this, with sort of like this ghost ram head, the ghost snakes you can put on the shield, the ghost sword, he feels like he kind of has like this scarecrow thing going on that he can just use, you know, terror on the battlefield and make you see him like this and just cow you with fear. That's awesome. I love all of the translucent parts. I love how just off the rails insane they've gone with this. And this is definitely the one that I'm going to be putting up first. And he is going to be $24.82? $24.82 right now. So there is plenty to take a look at, including, and I am amazed it's taken Mattel this long to come up with it, including a translucent John Cena figure for the WWE collection. So there's a lot worth checking out there right now. And finally, that brings us to Mattel Revealed. That this was the first Revealed event that I watched, and I actually thought it was legit fun. First of all, it was a legitimate live stream. It wasn't how a lot of companies are doing, that they do a pre-recorded show and then put it out as a fan stream. This was a legit live stream. Unfortunately, that meant that sometimes it would hang up, but like if I just kept hitting refresh and then starting it up again, I was able to keep going, keep up to date with what was happening. They had live giveaways, which was really interesting, that there was a link that you could click on to enter a giveaway, and you found out like in a minute or so who the winner was and whether you won or not. I thought that was really cool. They had a studio audience there for applause. They had actual fans that I guess they were able to enter a contest or something, but they had fans of their individual brands show up to help with the reveals and get like first impression reaction. Although I will admit, there was at least two that I think they were worried about whether and how they would do on like a live stream. So it felt very, at least two of them felt very scripted in what they had to say. But to be completely honest, I feel like the Mattel Revealed event put on a better show than like what Hasbro does. And they ran the gambit of a lot of their major brands. Now, first thing is first. They did not discuss DC Comics. They did not talk about Mattel getting the license for DC Comics. So that wasn't part of this at all. One of the first things we're going to talk about for their live stream was that they had these Mattel Loves LA t-shirts for sale. Now, these t-shirts are $25 each, and $15 from each sale goes to the American Red Cross with the intention of helping people in the wake of the Los Angeles fires. They have the Mattel Loves LA t-shirt right here, but they also have numerous brand-specific t-shirts as well, like Uno Loves LA, Barbie Loves LA, Masters of the Universe Loves LA, Hot Wheels Loves LA, and many more. So if you would be interested in picking one of these up and helping out the Red Cross, there will be links for all of this in the description below. Now, as far as the Revealed event goes, what they started off with was Uno. And they had two new decks to reveal. They had a She-Ra deck, which I am quite obviously very excited about. The art that they use in the cards, and I think that's like one of the big things for like these fandom decks of Uno cards, is the artwork that is used on them. But the artwork for the She-Ra deck is taken from the classic Dark Horse Comics mini comic art. The deck is $12, and it is currently in stock, so you could get that shipped to you. The other Uno deck that they released was Monster High, and Monster High, with it being the 15-year anniversary, really dominated the first half of the live stream. So we have this right here, the Monster High deck, which is also $12, and the artwork is made to look like the Monster High Fear book. Any Monster High fans know what I'm talking about, because I don't. But I really do think the artwork on this is really cool. I like how they did sort of like that yearbook / fear book thing. There's also a really cool rule that was put in for the fear book for the Monster High deck. So if you're an Uno fan and you dig Monster High, you might want to check this out. Like I said, the deck is $12, ships in April. Now moving from Uno to the Monster High brand itself, that's celebrating 15 years of Monster High. The doll that they had to reveal was the Corazon Mara kit. It is based off of a Filipino creature of myth that can be split in two, which you can see the doll can be split into as well. And this isn't that unusual, because I do know there are creatures, monsters in Japanese and Chinese mythology that either the head can leave the body and fly around, basically a vampire, and another one where the body can split into like this as well. I think it's a really cool function, really cool play feature, and I think with all that cloth goods, I think she looks really cool right here. I also like how on the back of the box, it kind of has like a I don't know if it's supposed to be like a newspaper article or like, hey, there's been a sighting of this monster flying around at night, you know, be wary. I dig the figure stand where you can either pose her as one piece, or the figure stand has a armature that can pivot back and forth, so you can pose her in her separate pieces as well. I think that's really cool. $75 in stock now. Coming out of Monster High, we go into Little People Collector, and once again, the star of the show is Monster High. Once again, celebrating 15-year anniversary, we have the Monster High Little People Collector set. This is Draculara, Frankenstein, Laguna Blue, and Claudine Wolf. $30 for this set. I am not a Little People collector. I am not a Monster High collector, but even I have to admit, this is freaking adorable, especially Draculara right there and the coloring that they gave her. Frankenstein, that's pretty cute as well. Like I said, $30. This ships in April. And then we go into the big hitters of Mattel. This started the second half of the fan stream. Going into the big hitters, we have Barbie. And yes, Mattel is the house that Barbie built, so it's only right that she really dominates the center of the show. They came out with something that I'm actually surprised it's taking them this long to come up with. It's called the You Create Barbie. Basically, it's a set that you can create your own Barbie doll. You can create it like in your image if you would want to, or you can just create whatever you would want to create. I really thought they would have come up with something like this. There are 3 basic starter sets for 3 basic skin tones, light, dark, and in between. And with each set, you get 3 different body types, you get 3 different outfit types, you have the ability to mix and match, you can swap heads and wigs, and the boxes are set up to look like a wardrobe or like a changing room. They have drawers that you can store like shoes and clothing in. And this is just the start. You have these 3 basic sets right here, but there is going to be more coming down the line. Now, each box, so remember, with each box you get 3 dolls, 3 outfits, some extra accessories. Each box is $100, and they will ship in April. After Barbie, we went into Masters of the Universe, because what else would you pick up after Barbie right there? Now, they advertised Club Grayskull, and we've talked about Club Grayskull a little bit already. They didn't really tell us anything new other than what was in that initial release whenever they put out the notice, and it is $9.99, $10 for the year. However, they announced the first Club Grayskull exclusive, and I feel like this is pretty much going to guarantee that every Masters of the Universe Origins collector is going to become a member of Club Grayskull, because what they gave us was Hero, and I think a lot of people suspected it was going to be this guy. Club Grayskull exclusive, some really cool like vac metal armor and some vac metal like boots or like shin guards right there. He comes with his spinning opening staff. He has some really cool Club Grayskull window box packaging, so that if you want to keep him in the box, keep him packaged up, he does stand out among your collection. So I have a feeling anything that comes from Club Grayskull is going to have sort of like this style packaging that's really going to stand out. $20, ships in April. Now, that was all they had for Masters of the Universe at the moment. However, they did sort of give us a peek at something, because one of the live giveaways was Masters of the Universe. And they gave away 3 autographed Necroconda figures, and I believe it was autographed by the crew that like sculpted and painted and they came up with Necroconda. But they also gave away 3 autographed Blade figures with Blade from the '87 movie, and it was autographed by the actor that played Blade. No, unfortunately, I did not win one of these, which if I was going to win anything, I wanted it to be one of these guys. But we saw the box, we saw it packaged up, We get a little bit of a sneak peek at it. No word on when he's going to go up for sale, but at least we know he's coming up down the line. Who knows? Maybe he'll be revealed at the CollectorCon. He's just one that they haven't put up yet. We'll have to wait and see. Next up was WWE Wrestling, and I don't really follow the Mattel WWE line too much, so I was actually really surprised to see that the figures that they came out with were in the 5.5 series, because I thought all of their WWE figures were like 6 or 7 inch scale. I didn't know they did a 5.5, but that is what we got. It was a 2-pack, what is it called? The WWE Superstars Finish the Dream Rhodes Legacy 2-pack, that you get Cody Rhodes and Dusty Rhodes in this 2-pack with some soft goods shirts, some belts, some hands, and some really cool packaging, to be completely honest. They come in this double blister card right here with like some legacy WW. It looks like the old WWF logo, but it's just the WW up top. Has the Superstars logo up top. Comes in a mailer box, or no, I'm sorry, this is the back of that blister card, that if you wanted to keep it in the packaging would be really cool. Like I said, I knew that there was like the WWE Eternia figures in the 5.5 scale. I didn't know they did standard wrestling figures in the 5.5 scale. And with this, you get the 2 figures, vintage style championship title and weight belt. Comes with soft goods shirts and 7 sets of interchangeable hands. Packaging inspired by the classic 80s wrestling action figure lines, which we have taken a look at right here. The cost for this is $50, which I question because I thought the 5.5 figures were $20 each. So $50 seems like it's $10 more expensive than it should be, but it is available in stock now. All of these, by the way, are Mattel exclusive, or Mattel Creations exclusives, and there is a link to a page in the description below that basically takes you to a Mattel Revealed landing page where everything that they revealed at the reveal event is all on one page. Now, the final thing that we have to take a look at is Hot Wheels closed it out, because if Mattel is the house that Barbie built, Hot Wheels is the car that drove her there. And for Hot Wheels, we have the Hot Wheels Elite 64 Porsche 911 GT2 Evo 993. I'm not a fan of Porsche, but it seemed like there was a big response to this in the chat when this was revealed. This is also a $20 Hot Wheel. I have not picked up Hot Wheels in a while, other than like the Racerverse stuff. I didn't know Hot Wheels went for $20. But if it's like one of those high-end collectors ones, I can kind of get it. It does look cool. I like the look of it. They said that this is done to proportion, to scale, so that's really cool. Body color black and red, body type Zamak, wheels bespoke real riders, base full metal, cool gray metallic matte chassis, window color medium smoked tint, interior color black with white roll cage, and it's a 1/64th scale. I'm sure all of that means something to Hot Wheels collectors, and I hope you're excited about this. $20 up for pre-order, will be here in April, or estimated ship date in April. In addition to everything we just talked about, in addition to everything that they revealed at the reveal event, there is more that you can get, and you'll see it in that landing page if you click on the link below. There's apparel, there's mugs, there's poster prints, there's a lot of really cool stuff for things that they revealed. I think the Hot Wheels shirts actually look the coolest. They have sort of like that rockabilly look to them that's I actually used to rock when I was in my 20s, but some really cool stuff. Click the link below, check that out. All right, thank you for making it to the end. Hopefully this one was not as long as the previous 2 show and tells were. I'm trying to keep them focused. I'm trying to keep them streamlined, trying to like keep them moving so that I do less rambling and we can just get right to the point. But if you made it this far, thank you very much. Just some bonus stuff to take a look at. That we did get the vintage Skeletor in. I'm going to be taking a look at this. Actually, if you look at the head sculpt right there, he's much better than what I was expecting, to be completely honest. I'm really digging like the wash and the paint job that they did on the skull. I also like how the armor is a little bit more two-toned. Actually makes me a little bit more excited to get this open. Also, if you did take a look at the Vampirella video, I did mention that I still have the Norsemen to take a look at here, and we may be doing a video on this guy pretty soon. I'd like to get him out. Maybe once, maybe I'll do this once the pre-orders for Conan go up. Well, look who made it to the end, you legend. If you made it this far, please give the video a like and consider subscribing while you're clicking buttons down there. If you already are a subscriber, I want to thank you for taking time and hanging out with me and talking toys again. If you like what we do here and you want to help the channel out, please consider becoming a member of the Steel Core. You can do so by channel memberships or by becoming a monthly subscriber to my Ko-fi page. Link in the description below. Core members get access to members-only exclusive videos, the Discord server, and eventually members-only live streams, all for just $1 per month. So until next time, my friends, play well, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.